Cardano holders are set to become incredibly wealthy in 2024. Taking a look at the ADA chart, we have some pretty positive things to kind of be reflecting on. In today's video, I am jumping into a macro analysis on Cardano ADA's price action, sharing my thoughts and opinions on where I think Cardano could be heading in 2024. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Cardano update video. And today we are taking a look at the price action of ADA, and there's some interesting things going on here. So ADA paired up with USDT on the 1 week time frame, and I'm using Gate.io as the data source today. And the reason for that is it has a little bit more data for our bigger macro picture, okay, going all the way back to December of 2017. Okay, so here we can see some pretty interesting things, and I want to kind of share some interesting insights into price analysis and the thoughts of where Cardano's ADA could be going. Now, obviously, the big obvious pattern for kind of newcomers in the space will be the kind of cup and handle pattern, right? The cup and handle pattern would look something like this, and we're yet to kind of complete out the handle, which would basically breach at the previous all-time high. Okay, and it would look something to this effect. And this particular pattern would have a very, very explosive, massive move to the upside for Cardano's ADA, right? And so the exact target for this is a little unbelievable. And there's a few reasons for that, and I'm going to go through that in a second, right? The target would actually be right up here at $75 on the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level, right? And we'd all love a $75 ADA in the next bullish cycle, right? It's very unlikely though. And the reason for that is the cup and handle pattern in itself has a couple of criteria with it. One, we don't have a very good cup here, okay? With our low coming down here in March 2020, it actually did come down lower than its December 2018 low. That basically actually means that we have more of a V-shaped bottom here rather than a curvature bottom. But we also can see that we've come down a little bit deeper than the 50% level on the handle. And this is incredibly unlikely to play out. Okay, so if you do see this pattern here, usually it's an invalidation sign when you cross down lower than 50%. So anyone kind of drawing this up, I think this is incredibly unlikely to happen, but would be fantastic to see nonetheless. If it were to happen, that would be fantastic. But I think it's very, very unlikely that we're going to see a cup and handle pattern play out on the weekly time frame for Cardano's ADA. As much as we all want $75 ADA, it's very, very unlikely. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove our cup and handle pattern. Okay, so we know that that's kind of the obvious one that's kind of right there straight off the bat. Now, the other thing that we can kind of take a look at is, of course, on a macro scale, drawing in some trend lines. Okay, so we can see here that we bottomed out just here, actually, in June of 2023. We capitulated back down again, retesting this trend line. Now, historically speaking, we would have actually been looking at it like this, okay, 2 touch points on the chart. And a lot of people were also drawing this on the low from January 2023, or even people who were kind of around back in, I guess, June of 2022, when people thought that that was the bottom of the market. We can see here that actually, in relation to everything else, it's actually touching this trend line over in October of 2023. Now, what's interesting about the most recent price action is that we've now rallied up higher than the weekly 200 EMA. So this weekly chart is actually looking quite good, right? In the last 2 weeks here, we can see, and I'm recording this on Sunday, guys, ahead of time, we can see that we're likely to get 2 weekly closures just above this after retesting it just late January 2024, right? Retesting, good support being found and rallying at the moment. Now, there is, of course, resistance right up here as well. We can acknowledge that we're right up in that resistance. If we close inside this range, which obviously you guys will know about, 59.5 to 68.06, anywhere in that range is going to be pretty bullish. And this is obviously a previous area of resistance as well, right? So this is now turning to support. If we can rally above this range, specifically above 68.06 cent, it's going to be incredibly bullish, and we're going to see potentially a little bit more of a run to the upside. It doesn't negate the idea of moving down, though. I still see this as a corrective pattern looking to come down again for great accumulation. So this run to the upside is great, but I do see it being short-lived. But for now, we're in pretty decent territory, right? But what about the future price predictions, right? So obviously, we know that Cardano's structures are incredibly interesting. It has some pretty significant potential, but what about that future price prediction that's going to make the ADA holders very wealthy in 2024? Well, jumping back down into our charts, we can see that there was this area of upper resistance, right, on the previous all-time high. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and anchor this in just on that range just there, and then pull it across here. So you can see that our previous all-time high right up here, at least according to gate.io, is between $3 and $3.909. This is the area where we're going to see a significant break from it, right? You can see it right here on the chart. This area is of immense interest to me because our trend line is tracking up towards this area. Okay, so we have our resistance and we have upward momentum tracking in that direction. This has the potential for a very explosive move to the upside. And I've spoken about these kind of price targets many times already. And if I go ahead and put the Fibonacci extension lines back on here, we can see some key interesting areas for the price action of Cardano. Now, I have obviously been on YouTube talking about the potential for Cardano to move up to kind of $24, maybe even $34 based on Fibonacci sequencing numbers within the structures of what we see in the charts. Now, they've been overly complicated. To keep things really simple, I do believe that a $5 to $10 Cardano, or more specifically, $6 to $12 Cardano, is the most likely scenario. These are key Fibonacci levels. And you can also see right here on our price chart that we have this price target right at $10 on the 1.236 Fibonacci level. And this is a measurement of the previous bullish market. So if we were to see this retracement coming down just to retest the 50% area and then rally on up to the 1.236, that would be a fantastic place to be. Likewise with the 1.382 coming in at $22. This is going to be a slightly harder target, but it is something that we can see happening based on all of the developments that are actually happening with the Cardano ecosystem. The DeFi area, the total value locked, lots of application being built on the platform. Cardano is being set up for a very explosive rally in 2024, early 2025. And as you can see with this ascending momentum that we see for Cardano, we can actually see a lot of potential for Cardano's price to explode to the upside, showing us with great returns on our investment. Now, if we were to replicate our 2021 kind of gains, this is going to be kind of predicting out that upper area of around $39. But again, that would be on the expectation that we kind of actually repeat the exact same pattern over and over again. Now, in this particular case here, a double top pushing a rallying above the $3.10 is going to be kind of the first area of resistance. But as we move up, we're going to go into price discovery. And really from there isn't a lot of resistance outside of the kind of natural things that we find in the ecosystems, such as Fibonacci sequencing, from which resonates, between every individual person. There's common numbers that we unknowingly kind of relate to, specifically like 0.618 or 1.618 and 23.6% and things like this, right? You can go into a lot of detail with that. But for the most part, I think Cardano has been progressing quite nicely. We've definitely got some interesting targets aligned to where Cardano is heading, and the price action inside the charts is looking very, very good for an explosive move to the upside. So I do think that we are likely to see somewhere between $6 and $12 on Cardano in the future, and everything in the charts and inside the data, everything from on-chain metrics and total value locked is all looking very, very good. The development on-chain and the development from the IOG and everything that's going on there is of course putting Cardano in front of many new developers and many new applications being built on the ecosystem. I think the future is incredibly bright for ADA, and I think I'm happy to be invested. Let me know what your thoughts are in Cardano in the comments down below. Are you a believer in Cardano, or do you believe that actually Cardano is not going to be successful? Share your opinions in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet checked it out, why don't you check out this video here where we cover more about some of our favorite projects in the crypto space.